Okay, here's another League of Legends game coming your way, this time with Skarner in the jungle. So we're still doing normal draft, and this is my big experiment with a tank jungler. I spent too long, to be perfectly honest, looking through the tank runes and seeing is there something that can work. Overall, I'm not entirely sold, but Skarner has a bit of an edge due to the whole suppression thing. Basically, the big tank mastery is, hey, you do this little delayed explosion thing, and due to Impale, you get to drag them around and you blow them up whenever you arrive where you're going. Now I'm up against Kayn, and let's see. The Cassiopeia on the enemy team is Platinum, the Twitch is Gold, and then everyone else is Diamond. To be honest, this is the only game I looked at all weekend just because I was wondering what the hell was this Kayn doing, and a little bit of spoilers for you. Anyway, this is what I'm running. I'm taking magical footwear because I wanted that little bonus in the movement speed, plus I didn't want to buy boots. And then I don't really know what to take for the other one. I just grabbed Cosmic Insight, but I don't know, like, is there anything better? Like, approach velocity, that would be good if someone would CC something for me, but usually when I play Skarner, it's because I want to lock someone down. It's because my team is lacking in CC. Granted, this one is an exception that every single one of us has a way to ruin someone's day, and if you looked at how brief this video is, you can kind of tell that's what we do. So anyway, the Darius switched to Tryn at the last minute, and yeah. So here I was looking at the other Skarner skins. Guardian of the Sand is just so much better than any of the alternatives. I'll spare you guys my criticism of the Battlecast Alpha thing. But otherwise, for the masteries, I'm taking the little explosion thing. I forgot what that one is called. That's the Keystone, in fact. Then I'm running Font of Life, which is basically Stoneborn Pact, as my next one. Underneath that one is the Delayed Armor and MR. You get a little bit at 10 minutes in. It's not really a lot, but nothing in that tier is really any good. And then finally, I'm running the Overgrowth Mastery, which I'd say is probably the most important one out of that entire tree. Basically, as stuff dies around you, you gradually get more and more max health. It's 0.2% for every 8 things that die around you. And there's no distinguishing between, like, large monsters and small monsters. It's just, hey, 8 things. Now, because of that, the Krugs, or the Golems, whatever you want to call them, those are extremely good to take, because you can, assuming you can clear those fast enough, that's pretty much just a free proc of that, giving you the additional 0.2. So that's not a lot early, but it will add up. And then on Skarner, I go Cinderhulk. There's definitely a case to be made for Warrior, especially with Gathering Storm, I guess, but we need to tank this game, and I kind of wanted to try Sterix on him. It's just the game doesn't even go long enough for me to get the Trinity, so spoiler. But anyway, for the enemy team, you can see what all they're running. The Tryn is running the attack speed one, while Riven is running the electrocute. I'm running the tanky stuff, while Kayn is running the Dark Harvest, I think that's called. Brand has electrocute, which is kind of disappointing because I really do miss Deathfire Touch already. There really does need to be an option for like the damage over time people, because I don't know if Swain and Malice are going to be nearly as good as they used to be. So right there is Arcane Comet. You can see Lethal Tempo, pause to read. I try to mouse over everything for the first couple games at least. So the Dark Harvest is kind of interesting. I don't know if that's better jungling or laning, because you can get... So the thing is this, if you can get the Scuttle Crabs, you will get more in the jungle, but if you do not get the Scuttle Crabs, you can get equal to the lane.
This world is so
if I'm doing this math correctly. Because minions come every 30 seconds, there's a cannon... Actually, I'm not sure. I know they were talking about doubling the cannon spawn, so it would be like 2 every 90 seconds, but I don't know if that ever actually went through. And on the topic of going through, I don't know if it's still worthwhile to start off with the chickens. It's eventually going to change to where it's not. Just something. So I want to say the time the Spires unlock probably has changed as well, since the game starts a few seconds earlier than it used to, and it's supposed to be even earlier when the season kicks off, but we'll see. So I'm starting with my Q because that's probably the best thing to do, especially if you're going to get a leash. You have to remember, it has no base damage, so you are very reliant on whatever AD you have, and you don't have as much anymore because of the whole change to the runes and masteries. So, kind of interesting, and not exactly in a good way. So anyway, right here I'm trying to use the Q to clear these in AoE, and I'm trying to auto-attack each one so that I can get the red buff ticking, and as a result I can take in a large portion of them fairly quickly, safely, and easily. So right there you can see the chicken camp goes down. I'm not really that bad off in health. I mean, I do have the red buff to tick me back up. And overall I'm not really looking to gank just yet because I figure with the people I'm playing with, they should be paying a lot more attention than they actually are this game. So, my goal was, I'm going to try to go top, see if I can get some pressure off Riven. Overall, like, Tryn shouldn't really be bullying her that early. For him to have done that, he might have done some sort of, like, early cheese where he gets some Fury, and then he goes all in and tries to get some crits, and sadly, Tryn can win lane like that fairly often. And I was kind of afraid that might have been the case here. So I'm going to go ahead and kill that. I have all my moves unlocked. I was kind of curious how the Scuttle was, and I decided to take it because, once again, like I was saying, I overestimated my opponents here. So right here you want to keep the Scuttle Crab in your domain, that way you get the attack speed, the movement speed. It's fairly easy to stick to it, because a couple other junglers actually do have a little trouble keeping up with that thing, even with the red buff going. So after we get first blood, I'll explain how Skarner works in case you're not familiar. So right here I have the red buff on him, and that's pretty much the kiss of death. Riven gets first blood, and that's that. So anyway, Skarner, your passive is the Crystal Spires. Those are those 6 points across the map. When you're inside those points, you get free attack speed, free mana regen, and free movement speed. And the mana regen scales off your max mana. It's kind of like a meditation type deal. So as a result for Skarner, I only take the blue buff if I need a CDR, because you should never really go on Skarner unless you're doing some sort of lane thing, which you shouldn't be doing. Q is Crystal Slash. You basically swing your claws forward, deals AoE damage. Has the passive effect of every time you auto-attack something, it lowers the cooldown on that move. Now if you attack or just any random thing, it's going to be a 1/4 second cooldown, I believe. But if you attack a champion, then it's a 1 second cooldown. So basically in your fights you can get off a bunch of Qs. So right there you can see the overgrowth. And by gaining the first blood on Tryn, that lowered the amount of time I have to wait for my boots. So 30 seconds less. They'll come at 9:30. For the boots themselves, they come to you. You don't have to worry about recalling to get them or anything. So they'll just appear in your inventory, as long as you have space, I believe. Don't know exactly what happens if you don't have space. I imagine they'll probably appear once you do have space. But anyway, your W is Crystalline Exoskeleton. This scales off your max health and a little bit of AP. Basically, you put a shield around yourself, it gives you movement speed, and well, it's one of those things that makes Skarner such a pain to kill. Your E is Crystal Poison? Damn, I don't remember what the E is. Actually, it might be called Fracture still. Yeah, Skarner's received so many changes, I actually don't really keep track of his moves more often than not. I just know what their effects are, not exactly their names. So anyway, you fire out that little crystal, it slows all the enemies it hits. It will pass through a maximum of 6 things, slowing down after each one. It will mark the enemy with poison, and then you can auto-attack them to detonate that poison, stunning them in place. And that's how I basically proc my 1 keystone, as well as the Font of Life. So I'm dropping the pink ward here, and hey, check it out, there's Kayn. So right here I stun him, get some damage on him. Cast is coming, and I made a mistake here of not running towards that marker. Luckily, right here I was planning to turn around and actually run through them, but they decided to group up together, so 1 Pyroclasm later. And I'm making sure to give this to Brand. I should also point out, if you didn't notice at the beginning of the game, I pinged out that both Twitch and Cassiopeia are running cleanse because they fear me that much. One of the things I have to warn you about Skarner is the guy has an extremely low play rate, so if you run into him in the game and it's not a free week, You're playing against someone who actually does enjoy the character and will know what they're doing, so just be aware that you may run into something you don't see very often. Anyway, finally, your ult is impaled. You stab them with your tail. This only works on champions, by the way, no minions, monsters, or so on. And while they are stabbed, you can drag them around wherever you go. You'll see me use this to bind Kayn when he tries to assassinate people, and basically my team can just pile on him and he's not going anywhere. Now with the Cassiopeia kill, that was another 30 seconds shaved off my boots. So you can see I can't buy them at all, we have to wait. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. So right here I was thinking, do I want to get the jungle item? And I figured, you know what? I'm getting pretty far ahead. Let's go for the Sheen. So because of the way the spires work, you have to remember the Sheen giving you just pure mana does mean you get more mana regen. So don't be concerned about that. So anyway, as I was saying, both Cass and Twitch are running the cleanse because they're afraid they're going to get impaled. And the thing is, whenever I run Impale, it's usually to bind assassins. Granted, Twitch is one of those ones I would sometimes focus. It's just this game, the Kayn is trying to do the heavy lifting, and like I said, it's a diamond player. The Twitch is a gold. What's especially nice is, generally for Kayn, he will not build a early QSS because he wants more damage. And that just makes it a little easier to kill him. So right here I was kind of hoping she would push up. And look, there's a ward here. That's how they found me. So right there, the pyroclasm goes off. Kayn's about to kill Bran, but all of a sudden he gets impaled. So this holds him down for Bran to do his combo. He still goes down, but I go ahead and kill him in revenge. And since that's another takedown, that's another 30 seconds off my boots. And lo and behold, they're actually in my inventory right now. So in case you're wondering about the specifics of how those work, and I can't believe I actually left that pink ward intact. Oh, I think I wanted to go steal his blue or something. Actually, I'm not sure. But anyway, due to the whole mana regen situation, those honey fruit are worth so damn much more now. Yeah, there it was. It was up. So one of the nice things about Skarner, especially once you have the Cinder, is he has so much AoE clear that even the chicken camp is a simple ordeal to take. So just beat those down and, well, it's more stacks for your overgrowth. And then more health, and as a result of the more health, that means a bigger crystalline exoskeleton, and hopefully you can see a little bit of a vicious cycle building here. So anyway, on the next back, I do want to finish the Cinderhulk. I pretty much grabbed the Sheen just for dueling stuff and to be annoying. And I was thinking about giving this over to Brand. It's just, I wanted the CDR. That way I can impale someone and they're not going anywhere. So the ideal target here is going to be Cassiopeia, but you can see I passed over a speed shrine. I don't remember what the cooldown is on Cleanse exactly, but she has friends. So there's Kayn, binding him so that he can't move. That allows Bran to get his combo off, and down he goes. Now right here, look at the minimap. The crystal arrow is whizzing through the air. It actually connects on her. So right here, on account of being the team's tank, I am more than happy to tank this. So I land my stun on her, and unfortunately I broke tower focus a little too early. As a result, Riven takes a lot of damage. She still survives, it's just, it was kind of unnecessary. By the way, if you didn't notice, there's a pink ward on both sides of the mid lane river, right in that brush. They knew I was going to focus her and try to actually take a couple steps to actually address that. Anyway, we have a nice chunk of gold, so we'll go back. I really do like the red smite items, that's why I'm grabbing that. Grabbing the ruby crystal so I get more health, that's going to become part of the phage. And hopefully you can just see with the health ratios, Skarner can be a bit on the obnoxious side. Twitch is rushing Static Shiv. Yeah, that will give you a full stack of the overgrowth, and a little bit extra. But anyway, Impale is up right now, so I want to look for somewhere to stab. Preferably the snake, but never a guarantee, I'm afraid. The other thing about Cassiopeia is you have to remember she gets movement speed for leveling up, so you generally want to focus her early because it's going to get more and more difficult as the game progresses. So right there, I dragged him into the crescendo. And right here, Nami turned around for some reason. So Sona goes ahead and picks up a double kill. Overall, I'm not concerned about getting kills in the slightest because I'm playing a tank here. I'm not carrying. I'm just here to body block, be annoying, and so on. So right here, I don't know if I just failed the auto attack. Yeah, it looks like I did. So I wanted to run him down, stun him, and then ultimately kill him. First Blood Tower goes over to Riven. Not entirely sure what happened to Tryn. There he is. So he has a bunch of odds and ends, but he's not really building towards anything big. And then on Skarner, I really do try to monopolize the red buff until late, especially if the AD carry is not doing well. It makes it so much harder for the enemy team to actually get away from you, and it can secure you kills more often than not. So right here, Riven is making her great escape. I didn't think she'd actually last as long as she did. Tryn is going to make this really awkward flank right here. So I was kind of hoping to drag him into the Crystal Arrow, but still fine. Pyroclasts bounce around the back line. Twitch kills Riven. I go ahead and pick up Tryn. And I think Twitch knows to not come any closer, because if he gets too close to that brush, I'm going to kill him. And unfortunately right here, both towers are still up. We never actually got the outer mid. That has me a little confused because the enemy team throws in the towel extremely early. They did lose the side lanes, but the mid lane was still holding out, so kind of think they would have lasted a little bit longer than they actually do. Yeah, well, you're gonna pretend you didn't see that, I hope. So you can see it's much harder to take this once it's outside of your spire. Right there, I did have the red buff to slow it so I could keep sticking to it, but like that's not a problem once you get the phage. Until then, though, it is a bit of one. So right there is my final back. I have all the components of the Trinity, just not enough for the recipe cost. So I'm heading off into battle. You can see none of the enemy team is really doing that well. It's just Kayn got utterly crushed. The poor guy probably needed to run Cleanse Smite in this game. So the Pyroclasm has gone off. I ghost on in. So right there I kill Twitch. Riven kills the Nami. The Cassiopeia dies to Sona. And that's kind of it. Oh, right, I forgot about him. So, gotta impale him so he doesn't go anywhere. We kill him. I actually get the kill. Put my exoskeleton so we take the tower. And right here I wanted to go take Dragon. But that was the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. So I go ahead and smack this around for health. This is when I was looking, hey, I don't actually have lifesteal anymore, I get a flat amount whenever I hit stuff. Granted, that does really come in handy for the dragon, though. Like, I'm not entirely sure on that change just yet. I have to play with it a little bit more to see if it's more of a buff to more junglers or more of a nerf, because it's going to benefit some, or harm others. Right there was the unanimous early surrender. So I get an Ocean Dragon to pad my stats. And now we get to the endgame screen. So you want to make a prediction of my rank? I think I ended up giving this to Sona. Everyone did really well this game, so I could really give it to any of them and it'd be legitimate. So I hit level 31, I get a champion capsule. I will open that on video, don't worry. Right there is my mastery token. So, S rank Skarner. And just an utter stomp. In terms of damage, I didn't really deal that much because I only had a sheen. Like, I didn't have anything for items, really. Anyway, everyone honored, so we get a little bit of honor progress, and I'll show you the capsule. And this is one of the criticisms of it. I get really ripped off with this one. So basically, you'll see a bunch of cheap guys when I open this. I think the highest is the 3150 Shin, but Tryn is 1350, Zillion's 1350, I think Amumu is 450, and Shin is 3150. So that just sucked. No way to mince words, I'm afraid. Anyway, I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.